Hi guys and dolls. Today's look is a back to school or work appropriate or neutral, whatever you want to call it. It's just a very easy to do look. It's not overly technical. It looks very flattering on the face, but it's not like something that you have to be like, oh, did I blend that right? Or did I apply this right? Or is this side match that side? Or very simple to do look, nothing too over the top. I only used 5 brushes for my whole entire face, and you can see I can get my whole face on really quickly. All the products are on the less expensive side. I would say drugstore, even though some of the stuff you actually have to get online, but in terms of pricing, it's definitely drugstore products and pricing, so it's accessible to everyone. I tried to include products that were good for oily skin. I tried to include products that are good for dry skin and kind of show how you can use products together to get a proper amount of SPF, which is super important. Teenagers are one of the #1 groups that hates wearing sunscreen, and it's really too bad because that's when it's the most important, because your skin cells are still young and healthy and juicy, and you want to preserve that by wearing sunscreen. So I show a couple of different options for liquid and powder sunscreen and stuff like that. And yeah, that's pretty much it. I want to give a quick shout out to my sister who's 14 and is starting her first year of high school on Thursday, so hi Susan. And also, if you want to stay tuned at the end, I'm actually going to have a little surprise for my subscribers. So thank you for watching my tutorial, and let's get started. Okay, so the first thing that you want to do is prep your skin with whatever skincare that you use every day. I personally just put on a little bit of the Clinique Dramatically Different Gel Moisturizer. Even though this is kind of like a higher end thing, Clinique actually sells this moisturizer in like a smaller squeeze tube that's only like $12. So if you think about like drugstore comparable prices, I think that's pretty close. And this is really great for oily or even slightly dry skin. However, if you're a teenager, you might not need as much moisture as I do at almost 25, so you might just be able to get away with just the tinted moisturizer. This one is from Hard Candy. It's called Sheer Envy. It has an SPF of 15, which is good but not best for daily sun protection. You want a little bit more than this, especially since this one is chemical only sunscreen, but we're going to add another sunscreen later. So I'm just going to grab a little bit of this onto the heel of my hand, right here. I like to use the palm of my hand as my palette as opposed to this side. This side of the hand is more porous and therefore you'll get like makeup residue on it, whereas this side it really doesn't stick as much. And then also because the heel of your hand is warmer, it'll actually help to warm up the product better for application onto the face. So to apply my tinted moisturizer, you could use your fingers. I personally prefer to use a brush just because I don't really like getting my fingers dirty, but whatever floats your boat. I'm going to use the Sigma F80 to apply this. It's a very dense brush, as you can see. Now, if you were using powder foundation because you have really oily skin, and I'm going to get to that later, this would also be a great option for applying powder foundation. So I'm going to go ahead and just pick some of this up. You need very little of this tinted moisturizer, and it's actually pretty well pigmented. So I'm just going to start buffing that all over my face. This tinted moisturizer is really great too because it's only $8 at Walmart. Because this is so dense, this brush is so dense, it really works the color in really nicely. And makes it nice and even, which really, it's harder to get like perfectly even coverage, I find, with my fingers. So as you can see, I got pretty decent coverage. I want to say light to medium coverage from just this tinted moisturizer. This is available at Walmart and it's really inexpensive. The reason why I especially wanted to show you guys this product is because this is a back to school tutorial mainly aimed at like teenagers, and most of you most teenagers have, honestly, you don't think you do, but you have really good skin, and so you really don't need a lot of coverage. And we're going to be adding another product later on that's going to add a little bit more coverage. But I did want to show another option. And this one is quite a bit more expensive. This is $8, this is nearly $30. However, this is a really good product if you want full coverage and you have oily to slightly dry skin. This is great stuff. It has SPF 15. It's in a physical version, whereas this is chemical. So this will, in 2 hours, you'll need to reapply some other type of sunscreen. Whereas with physicals, you can usually go a bit longer. This also has a lot of antioxidants in it, so it's almost like a really, really heavy coverage tinted moisturizer. You can get basically full coverage with this foundation. And yeah, so that's another option I wanted to just quickly show you. Now, if you have really, really oily skin and you just cannot hang with tinted moisturizers, it just feels too heavy, you do still want to put some kind of a moisturizer on, like perhaps, you know, the Clinique gel one, because that one's really good for oily skin. But you still need sunscreen. A lot of people with oily skin absolutely abhor sunscreen because it's thick and it's heavy and it's nasty and ugh. But you want to preserve your skin, and the only way to do that is to protect it from the sun. So I actually found a fantastic powder from Physicians Formula. It's called Healthy Wear, and this is actually a foundation. It comes in quite a few shades. Translucent light shade. I don't know if it's actually any lighter in coverage, but as you can see, it's very pale. It's almost too pale for me. And for reference, this is my MAC Mineralized Skin Finish. You're gonna see, like, yeah, my MAC one is like a lot darker than this, but this ends up actually working out for me with the tinted moisturizer. They also have bronzers, so if you have, this is a very light bronzer, but if you have a deeper skin tone where the foundations, they don't have a shade for you, you can always use a bronzer as a setting powder. So yeah, now this one is interesting because it's a foundation powder, but it also has SPF 50. Now if you wanted to and you had really oily skin, you could take the Sigma F80 and just use this and apply it like foundation. There's totally nothing wrong with that. The reason why I'm just using it as a setting powder is because I already have the tinted moisturizer on and I just don't need that much coverage. Now I'm going to take a little bit of this on a F25. This is another Sigma brush, and I'm just going to basically apply that all over my face to set the tinted moisturizer. The domed shape of this brush makes it so that I can get into smaller areas like between my brows and just under my eye without getting powder all over the place or places that are unnecessary or accidentally over powdering areas where I've already applied product. Okay, so now I'm going to move on to cheeks. I'm going to use a combination of this Healthy Wear bronzer. This one came in like a double pack with the foundation, so I didn't really seek out to purchase this. So take it or leave it. This also has SPF 50. So you're going to get lots and lots of coverage to the places where your face needs it most, which is usually the high planes of the face, which is where you usually apply bronzer. So I'm going to just apply this to the apples of my cheeks and sweep back. You could also apply it up here if you like and do the E3, as it's called. Remember to always blend, 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 blend. Blending is your friend. On top of that, I'm going to use this Wet n Wild blush. This is called Heather Silk. Pretty pink color. A little bit of that on my brush, and I'm going to tap off the extra because this is a really pigmented blush. And again, I'm just going to put that on the apples of my cheeks and sweep it back. The shape of this brush really helps to apply blush seamlessly so that you don't have to put as much work into it, I found. Just kind of blends it out perfectly. I'm taking my F80 that I used to apply my tinted moisturizer, and I'm just kind of lightly going over my eyelids with what's left over of the tinted moisturizer. I don't need tons of coverage, but I want a little bit of evening out since the primer that I'm going to use today is clear. Alright, now for the fun part, eyeshadow. I'm going to use a La Splash, or I think it's actually called LA Splash. I don't know. Anyway, I'm going to use their eyeshadow base. This is the eyeshadow sealer and base. It's basically clear when you first put it on. I was really impressed by this stuff. It actually works really, really good, and it's pretty cheap. I get this at a local beauty supply, but I'm pretty sure that you can get this online. This primer is on the stickier side when you first put it on, so you want to give it a couple minutes just to kind of, or like a minute, just to kind of get a little less sticky. Alright, so we're just going to do a really quick, really simple, everyday running out the door kind of eyeshadow look. I'm going to use the Greed palette from Wet n Wild. I'm going to use this kind of cantaloupe, melon, I don't know, whatever color you would call that. And anyway, I'm taking a Sigma E50 and I'm just going to pop that on the lid and kind of sweep it all across the eye just to the socket bone. This brush is great because it quickly applies the color and blends it out at the same time. So now just to kind of blend that out, I'm going to take this lighter color in the palette. It's the highlight shade. And I'm going to apply that underneath the brow bone and blend it down to meet the kind of peachy color. Cantaloupe peachy, I guess is what I'll call that shade. So I don't have names. Okay, now I'm going to grab a color from the e.l.f. eyeshadow transformer palette. I'm going to use the kind of orangey based. These are all like pastel duochromes. Anyway, I'm grabbing that on the E50. And actually, you can just kind of sweep that all over the whole entire lid. It's just going to add a nice finish to the whole thing. So now I'm just going to add a little bit of definition into my crease. I'm going to use the Wet n Wild Vanity palette. I'm going to use this shiny brown. Remember to always tap off your brush, especially when you already have your foundation done. You don't want lots of fallout. And I'm just going to rock that color right here in my socket of my eye, just to add a little bit of definition to the outer corner and the crease. Okay, now for a little bit of definition with the eyeliner. I'm going to use this Styly Style eyeliner in Topaz. It's one of the Twist and Seal. This is a waterproof pencil, so it's going to last all day. And I'm going to use my little Sigma mirror. This hasn't come out yet. Stay tuned to find out how you can get one. And hopefully you guys can see what I'm doing. I'm just smudging that into my lash line. And then I'm going to take my finger and kind of blend it out a little. I'm not really trying to have like a super eyeliner look, I just want my lash line to look a little thicker. Now, you don't have to do this step, just a little bit of brow gel to keep my eyebrows in place. I'm going to go ahead and apply my mascara. Wiggle it at the lash base and flick it up. Alright, so before I move on to lips, I'm just going to add a little extra topping, if you will, to my cheeks. I'm going to highlight with this. This is called Honeymoon. It's also from Hard Candy. To apply this, I'm going to use an F35 from Sigma. I'm just going to kind of rock some product onto it and apply that just to my cheekbone right here to kind of highlight. Now I will mention that if you have really oily skin, you might not like the effect that shimmer has throughout the day. And there are a few matte highlighters that you can get out there. You could always get a lighter shade of foundation than what you wear and put that on your cheekbone. I personally like a little shimmer, so that's what I'm going to do. And blend it down so it all kind of is cohesive. Blending is always key with makeup, especially if you want to actually make it look like you're not wearing makeup, which I think I definitely look like I'm wearing makeup, but it's not like crazy over the top like I normally do. Okay, so now for lips, I'm going to use this Glitzy Glamour Gloss from Milani. It's called Fashion Diva. It's kind of a sheer purpley pink with lots of glitter. It's very pretty. Okay, so that is my neutral everyday back to school look. This is kind of on the warmer side, so if you have a cooler skin tone, more like yellow base to your skin, this might not totally work for you. You could always switch it up, use different products. You could have very easily have used, you know, the cooler shades in this palette, use some of the cooler shades in the e.l.f. palette. You know, just switch it up and tailor-make it to yourself. I hope that this was helpful for you. I tried to use a variety of products that are good for both dry skin and normal to oily skin. We have lots of options. Everything is easily accessible. Nothing's too expensive in this video, so yeah. So now we've come to the fun part of the video. Hosting a back to school brush essentials giveaway. So if you want to go ahead and check out the link in the down bar, it'll actually have a link to my blog which will fully explain the rules of the giveaway and everything like that. Don't leave comments below because that's not how to enter and it won't be counted, and then you won't get to win these awesome prizes. So there's going to be 6 winners, and you could win one of the 5 brushes that I actually used in today's tutorial, or the Sigma Dazzle Heart mirror. This is so cute, I can't even stand it. They could pretty much just call this the Cora mirror and they'd be good, but they're calling it Pink Safari. This hasn't even come out yet, and you guys could win it before it comes out. And honestly, these are my absolute favorite must-have Sigma brushes, so I'm so happy that I can give those out to you guys. So check my blog for the official rules and to enter, and again, that link will be down below. Thank you again for being subscribed and for watching, and I will see you guys next time. Bye.